commencement ceremony. Now, at this time, please join me in recognizing our distinguished faculty. I'd like to ask everyone who is able to please stand. At this time, I am honored to present our candidates for graduation from the college's academic divisions. Will faculty, graduates, and guests please remain standing and join me in recognizing our platform party led by our academic mace bearer, Hung Sui. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Scott Rawls, President of Wake Technical Community College. Dr. Rawls.
Thank you, Dr. Reeves, and welcome everyone to the best day ever. Please stand as the Wake Tech Honor Guard presents our colors. You are standing. Thank you. And we are fortunate today to have the runner-up from Wake Tech Idol, Naomi Kalela, to perform our national anthem. Will the Sergeant of the Honor Guard please advance the colors?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land
Thank you to our honor guard and to Naomi. That was terrific. You may be seated. At this time, I call on our Wake Tech Student Government Association President, Silas Johnson, for a few remarks. Silas?
Thank you, Dr. Ross. Hello, everyone. As your student president, it brings me immense joy to stand before you today to celebrate our graduating class. This moment is a testament to your hard work, resilience, and dedication. Each of you has faced challenge, forged friendships, and created memories that will last a lifetime. And today, we honor your achievements. As you embark on this new journey, remember that you carry with you the spirit of our community and the lessons you've learned along the way. Embrace the opportunities ahead with confidence and curiosity as you take on new challenges. Congratulations to each and every one of you. This is just the beginning of your incredible future. Thank you.
Thank you, Silas. Graduates and guests, there are some people here with us today that I would like you to help me in recognizing. First, joining us today are the distinguished members of our college's Board of Trustees seated behind me at this point in time. I'll ask them to stand as I say their names and hope you'll help me to give them a big round of applause. First, Dr. Sandra Williams, our Vice Chair. John Boswell. Linda Coleman. Walter Davenport. Sharat Nagaraj. And Dr. Juan Torres. We appreciate their service and their commitment to our college. Now, we know there may be members of Wake County and North Carolina government with us today. We thank you for your support of Wake Tech. And we're also honored, we know, to have many first responders and veterans with us in attendance today. We greatly appreciate your service and we're honored to have you in attendance today. Please give them a round of applause. And of course, we want to take note of the wonderful, outstanding Wake Tech faculty that are currently sitting behind the graduates and have been behind the graduates each step of the way, and staff of Wake Tech that surround our graduates again today at this service. Thank you to the faculty and to the staff of Wake Tech. And finally, it's important for us to remember that our graduates today, they would perhaps not be sitting here today if it was not for the love, the support, the encouragement all along the way of their family and friends, many of whom are with us today. Some are watching online through streaming. Let's take a minute to recognize all the guests in attendance today. Thank you for being here today for graduation. Now I'm honored to introduce our commencement speaker, your commencement speaker for your graduation. We're fortunate at our commencement speeches to hear the voices of some of our outstanding students at each ceremony. Now, in just a moment, you're going to hear from one of your fellow graduates, and you can read about her outstanding accomplishments in your program. Right now, I'd like for you to help me in welcoming a very talented graduate who has truly excelled during her time here at Wake Tech as a student. She's graduating today with an associate in applied science degree in baking and pastry arts. And we're very happy to have your classmate, your fellow graduate, Alyssa Mowry, as our commencement speaker today. Alyssa.
Thank you, Dr. Rawls. Whew. It's my pleasure to welcome students, family, faculty to graduation day at Wake Tech. Each and every one of you have had an impact on the graduates who sit before you today. Until the start of 2023, I worked in a place where I specialized in cruelty and animal abuse cases. For 10 years, I lived a Sarah McLachlan commercial where you featured neglected and abused animals. Almost every day was rewarding, but it was often overshadowed by a lot of heartache, pain, and sorrow. After 10 years of being in a career where carrying a weapon and being shot at became the norm, I decided it was time for a change. Well, there's no time like the present. At the start of 2023, my boyfriend and I moved to North Carolina and provided me the much needed time to heal emotionally, mentally, and physically. After weeks of watching every baking show on the Netflix channel, I decided that it was time to find some of my grandma's recipes and decided to do some baking. I soon realized it was helping me relax, and it brought back happy childhood memories of my mom, grandma, and me baking in the kitchen. I felt a shift begin to happen. So I started to search for some community outreach programs where I could learn to improve my baking and decorating skills. I found Wake Tech and its baking and pastry arts. They had an open house on a Tuesday night, and even though it was over an hour away, I decided, well, there's no time like the present, so I went. I got home and I was super excited. I applied for school and couldn't wait for August to come for me to start classes. The first day of school was a whirlwind. I woke up at 5 a.m., got to school by 7 for classes that started at 8. At the end of my first day, I felt so electrified and like a switch had been turned back on. When I arrived back to my truck to go home, I realized that in my excitement that morning, I had left my headlights on in my truck, and so my battery in my truck was dead. So on my first day of school, I got to meet the campus security. They were super nice. When I got home that night, I was knew that this was the career that I needed to do. The journey ahead of me scared me to death, but I knew it was what I needed to do, and I needed to go big or go home. After my first 8 weeks, I was hooked. I signed up to more classes, and all of a sudden, I was a full time student. Well, there's no time like the present. Then, during the spring of 2024, another change happened. My boyfriend and I moved to Tennessee. As I started looking for schools that I could transfer to, I realized that I felt disconnected from everyone. I knew that Wake Tech had become my home, and I knew I needed to figure out a way to stay. I decided to remain in North Carolina to finish what I started before starting my new adventure in Tennessee. I sacrificed a lot, missed a lot of important life events and moments back home, but I knew this is where I needed to be. Wake taught me Wake Tech taught me many things. The one thing that I learned was that my 5 to 10 year plan was constantly changing. My new 5 to 10 year plan is to take all of the passion I found at Wake Tech, along with the skills that I've learned, and become a teacher at a community college. I want to inspire more students to follow their passion in baking and pastry arts, like Wake Tech has done for me. I can only hope that one day I can inspire students half as good as the chefs did here today. And to all the chefs, I thank you. I'm a proud graduate at Wake Tech Baking and Pastry Arts program. Thank you, Wake Tech, for being an incredible college where I could grow, learn new skills and heal. You gave me the confidence to pursue my dream in the baking and pastry arts to become a pastry chef. If there's one message you get from my story today, besides making sure you turn your headlights off when you get out of your truck, is that you did this. You made the decision to go after the passion. No one can ever take this away from you. There's no time like the present. So go out, celebrate, and eat dessert first.
Thank you, Alyssa. That was a great speech. And today is a remarkable day, the best day ever, as we like to say, a day to celebrate your hard work and the tremendous personal accomplishment of earning your college degree. And the moment when you will hear your name called and you walk across this stage and then collectively stand and turn your tassels from right to left. It's the culmination of everything you've worked for while here at Wake Tech, and it's a lifetime memory that you will carry forward from this day on. But before you walk across this stage, I'd like to just take a moment to reflect a little bit on the deeper meaning of this milestone. Now, graduation is a time of extraordinary happiness. You've achieved something personal, a victory that brings you closer to your goal. But there's another emotion at play here at today's graduation surrounding all the graduates today, and that emotion is joy. David Brooks, a writer, has highlighted the subtle distinctions between happiness and joy. And as the faculty and staff at Wake Tech know, I tend to quote him at every graduation commencement address because he's written that the emotions of happiness and joy are so clear at graduation ceremonies just like this one right now. Happiness comes from personal achievement, says Brooks. It's about success, whether it's a new job, higher pay, a new house. It's an accomplishment. We all strive for happiness, and you have strived to greater success that's brought you happiness today here at Wake Tech. It's important to enjoy these victories and celebrate each rung on the ladder. But joy comes from a little different place. According to Brooks, he suggests that joy is what your family and your friends are feeling right now, surrounding you in this gymnasium, or at home now watching you. That's what they're feeling about you at this very moment. Joy comes from seeing others thrive, from the deeper connections that we share, from working together with each other on something that's larger than yourself. It comes from the relationships we build, the connections we make in our community. Joy is a gift that you give that even transcends personal success. Now, Brooks goes on to suggest that there's really, as he says, two virtues in life: resume virtues and eulogy virtues. Now, resume virtues are the skills you bring to the marketplace, and you've honed those skills here. They may be baking skills or other skills. You've honed those skills at Wake Tech. But eulogy virtues, that's what's remembered at your funeral. Whether you were kind, whether you were generous, brave, honest. These are the virtues that produce joy, both for you and for others. Now, while success in resume virtues is very important and something that each of us strive toward, it's the cultivation of eulogy virtues that truly make life fulfilling and give meaning to life. Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, has said that the meaning of life is to give life meaning. And Thomas Merton, the American monk, says that if we're not careful, we may spend our entire life climbing the ladder of success only to find that when we get to the top rung, our ladder's leaning against the wrong wall. Now, Alyssa has just eloquently described in her remarks her initial pursuit of her goal to become a pastry chef that has evolved into becoming a teacher. Don't forget about Wake Tech's baking and pastry program, Alyssa. A meaningful goal to help inspire, as she said, inspire more students to follow their passion in baking the way Wake Tech has done for me. Thank you, Alyssa. Now, approximately a year ago, I had the unique opportunity to meet and have lunch with David Brooks. And I told him that I always quote him at graduation ceremonies. So I took the opportunity to ask him, well, what would he tell you at your graduation ceremony right now? And he said, instead of telling you anything, he'd ask you a question. What are you going to do to solve the greatest problems of our time? And in posing that question, he made reference to another individual I quote all the time and have already quoted today, Viktor Frankl, who said we should be asking, what is life asking of me, rather than what am I asking of life? That's some pretty heavy stuff right there. So it's also important to keep the, the remarks of the great philosopher Ferris Bueller in mind, who said, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around every once in a while, you're going to miss it. Now, if you don't know who Ferris Bueller is, ask your parents, or better yet, when life does slow down, watch the movie over the holidays. It's still a pretty good movie. Ferris Bueller fans to the right. And when all the graduation ceremonies do settle down, and when they're over and life settles down for you just a little bit, you might reflect on the question that David Brooks said I should ask you right now about the greatest problems of our time. And some days I know it feels like there's just too many great problems to choose from. David Brooks suggested to me that day that he thinks the greatest problems of today are what he called social emotional problems, stemming from how we treat each other, or perhaps looking at it from the other perspective, how too often we mistreat each other. And he suggested there's a difference between people he calls diminishers and others that he calls illuminators. Diminishers make people feel small and unseen, but illuminators, on the other hand, they have a curiosity about others. As Silas suggested, they shine a light on others. They make them feel deeper, respected, lit up, if you will. And he suggests us in these small daily acts of building connections with each other, relationships with each other, connections with our community, that will be most important in solving the biggest problems of our day. He calls it the illuminator ideal, the realization that we all need acceptance from others. We all need someone to look us in the eye and encourage the confidence that we each need to thrive. Now, as you prepare to cross the Wake Tech graduation stage in just a few minutes, it's my sincere hope that you found that illuminator ideal during your time here at Wake Tech. Faculty, staff, and others who took the time to see the greatness in each of you, who helped you get over the hurdles that crossed your path on the way to this stage today. People who helped you find the confidence and empowerment on your way to the moment that we're all getting ready to celebrate. You know, it could have been something as simple as Alyssa described, showing up early for that first day in the dark, and you get out excited and you leave your car lights on. And in that case, the police officer at Wake Tech were both literally and figuratively the illuminators for Alyssa that day. It's the small acts that you remember. And if you have felt the illumination of the Wake Tech torch during your time here, I encourage you to please carry it forward. Share it with someone else in our community. Let them know that you see them, that you believe in them, that you have confidence in their potential. And if it's appropriate, let them know about a place called Wake Tech. It may seem like a very small gesture, but it might be part of solving one of the greatest problems of our time. Wake Tech class of 2024. We see you and we believe in you. We're incredibly proud of you and we share in the joy of your success today. You should feel extremely happy on this, the best day ever. Congratulations. And now let's move on to the most important part of this ceremony, the awarding of your degrees and diplomas. On stage with me today is our Executive Vice President and Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Nicole Reeves. Dr. Gail Green is unable to be with us today. She's a little under the weather, but she sends her great congratulations to each of you. Also joining us are your academic provost and the deans of the divisions from which you are all graduating. And I'd like to ask them to stand as I say their names. First, Provost Chad Ray, and with him from that division of Biotechnologies, Engineering and Skilled Trades, Dean Leslie Eisenhower, Dean of Biotechnology, Dean Rick Sapienza of Transportation, and Dean Al Brewer from Engineering Technologies and Skilled Trades. From our occupational programs, Associate Vice President Monica Gimperling, and I want to note Anthony Cason here, Vice President sitting in the front row. Thank you for being here today, as well as recognizing Provost Dr. Jamie Wicker from our Public Safety, Education, and Training Division. Please stand. And Dr. Keith Babushchik, our provost for IT and the RTP campus, an interim program for business and professional services. And with Keith is Dr. Jeff Hadley, or Dean Jeff Hadley from business and professional services, and Dean Cindy Luttrell from information technology. Dean Hadley is retiring here in a few weeks, so let's give all of them a big round of applause. Thank you to each of our leaders for being here today. And now I'd like to ask our Executive Vice President, Dr. Nicole Reeves, to help me award the degrees.
Dr. Rawls, on behalf of the faculty, deans, and provosts from the academic divisions represented at this ceremony, I am excited to present our graduation candidates. At this time, I invite the marshals to conduct the candidates for graduation to the stage.
Alyssa Mowry. Valentin Hernandez Martinez. Mihir Vadadoria. Hisham Gerbud. Jonathan Philip Asfori. Malcolm Marcal Mills. Efrain Seniza. Justin Neil Farrell. Mario Chicano. Matthew James Flowers. Khadija Gaya. Ashley Nicole Lunsford. Glenn Robert McCormick. Sitlali Sarahi Torres. Muthoni Muigai. Brianna Young. Joanna Contreras. Jason Samuel Lee. Rosario Lopez Sanchez. Constance Faith Mix. Anne Marie Anderson. Rodrigo Garcia Rubio. Christopher Jesus Espinal Maldonado. Sheila Castillo Iturbide. Kyle D. Kennedy. Carter Preston Bryant. Andy Chow. Jose Jesus Felix Vasquez Mendoza. Diana Flavia Hong. Yvette Sonia Chenju Nana. Shawnee Han. Kesia Marie Anderson. Litzy Marquez. Tajasia Shawnee Reed Jones. Noor Fadlila Smith. Lydia Joanna Maradiaga. Jasmine Tyann Webb. Esvedi Nelson Rebolar. Leon Id. Mariam Mohammed Lafi. Kylie Huckel. Olivia Elizabeth Kimball. Blessings A. Nichols. Rachel Lisa Huggins. Bethlehem Gonzalez Fuentes. Imani Cristile Flood. Benjamin Nathan Miller. Raul Ernesto Martinez. Isaiah Thomas Dillard. Taran Deep Singh Ravindra Singh Sani. Iro Onyeke Godwin. Patrick S. Davey. Clayton Joshua Armstrong. Samuel James Fuller. Darnisha Darnell Hodge. John Eliel Aldana. Ethan Alexander Coley. Singkyu Oba Peoples. Michael Scott Martin. Destiny Chandler. Emma Andella Richards. Luis M. Ramirez Santiago. Letigia Monique Collins Harris. Megan Nicole Wheat. Cade Michael Wilburn. Talon Jasper. Sydney Taylor Walker. Yvette Cruz. Alana Denise Gavauer. Griselda Lopez. Hanan H. Aldamad. Mary Oluka. Alan Mwenda. Zyla Eileen Nobles. Jared Ortega. Taylor Wilson. Angeline Ivy. Christian Louis Pius. Shakayla Monet Palmer. Michaela Danae Herndon. Yasmin Alexandra Munoz Solis. Dhaval A. Naik. Salmata Lamin. Madeline Elizabeth Taylor. Asra Khaled. Jimena Rivera. Delaney M. Grauer. Rebecca Marie Crowley. Desiree Alexandria Smith. Brittany Nicole Andrews. Tara Barfield. Dylan Michael Freed. Preston James Elrod. Elias Ahmed Italeb. Jorge Brian Aguas Vaquerizo. Casey Desiree Hernandez. Brittany Shanae Garnes. Joanne Maria Green. Jacob Paul Young. Stephanie Hall. Joshua Wayne Dulcich. Heidi Elizabeth Maldonado Arroyo. Jordan McRae Richardson. Elder the Puebla. Meenakshi Das. Autumn Suzanne Pasco. Michelle Alejandra Jaco. Nasim Isa. Erica Dandara de Assis Maya. Chase Hawkins. Justin Andrew McCalla. William Tyler Horton. Jesus E. Asensio. Andrew Kim Tram. Bradley David Huntoon. Tierra Kenesha Dunstan. Arlie Sinai Ramirez Cardoso. Oriana Gabriela Fuenmayor. Casey Elaine Davis. Jennifer Eileen Espinoza. Aya Mohib Uda. Samuel Arcano Gerard. Elijah Paul Davis. Brandon Alexander Solomon. Arthur John Sauer. Deandra Patrice Kearney. Samia Nageb Shokri. Malika Arabi. Diana Lynn Carnes. Taylor Zakursky. Nadir Ulhasi. Fatia Ulhasi. Keeland Hassan Polk. Amanda Grace Baker. Tiffany Alejandra Delgado. Benjamin Paul Mosher. Andrew Frederick Mosher. Russell Thomas Robertson. Kelsey Reese Veller. Abigail Ludwig. Terrence Christopher Farley. Yasmin Dominguez Gutierrez. Kirtan Radesham Patel. McKenna Britt Call. Angie Natalia Cadena Sarmiento. Mervat Clementina Alfaro. Danielle Sosa Santibanez. Kulsum A. Sheikh. Jasmine Martinez Sanchez. Tyrese Anthony Warner. Jacqueline Ramirez Jimenez. Angel Carrillo Llanos. Sami Mamongo Fuachi. Shelley Lynn Dinan. Edwin Rosenthal. Natalie Maria Tadeo. Mackenzie Catherine Lattis. Candace Marie Pearson. Victoria Martinez Aguilar. Christina Ann Kenney. Joel Duncan Williamson. Brian Donald Session. Connor Joseph Baisden. Evan Riley Ward. Igor Veloso Goes Teles. Steve Anthony Gomes. Michael Whitley. Amber B. Sorry. Yesenia Morales. Amir Ailing. Owen Silas Woods. Aldair Garcia Perez. Austin Seth Hagan. Kadus Terefe Agonifer. Kevin Jose Hernandez Gaspar. Paul Michael Ranta. Dorian Frederick Perez. Wafa Al-Ranu. Alfonso Mercado. Timothy Ian Wilkins. Carol Dawn Miller. Henry Charles Delane. Roberto Muniz. Carrie Antonia Fields. Terry Bell. Abner Rene Vargas Lopez. Joshua Jeffrey Pierce. Cameron Bradley Hathaway. Austin Jack Oliveri. Khalid Kabiri. Michaela Ann Williford. Hannah Elizabeth Zadori. Olivia Elizabeth Tornator. Eric Lehman Heath. Jesus Alberto Ortega Cortez. Emma Leah Gilbert. Landon Bryant Spencer.
Dr. Rawls and members of the Board of Trustees, the provost, academic deans, and I affirm that the candidates have met or have pending all requirements for their diplomas or degrees.
Hang on. That time is coming. That time is coming. It's coming. It's coming. Just hang on. Will all the candidates please rise for the conferring of your degrees and diplomas? All right. Here comes the big moment. Here comes the big moment right now. Right now. Under the authority that's vested in me by the trustees of Wake Technical Community College, by the statutes of North Carolina, and by the North Carolina State Board of Community Colleges, it is my privilege, alongside our distinguished Board of Trustees, to award these degrees and diplomas to candidates as presented. Graduates, you may now turn your tassels from right to left. Congratulations.
Families and friends, we kindly request that you remain in your seats until the conclusion of the graduation recessional. After the graduates exit, you may exit the gym through the back doors and reunite with your graduate at the front of the building. Thank you for supporting our graduates today.